Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you as always for staying tuned and supporting the channel. Today we're taking a little break from Himmelnez and testing the new Monokuma job from the Ragnarok Mobile Danganronpa collaboration. This is still an early test. I haven't tested every possible build, every piece of equipment, or every PvP situation yet, so don't treat this as my final review of the job. But after playing around with Monokuma, I already have a pretty clear first impression, and I think this job is quite interesting. I would describe the damage as so-so. I don't think Monokuma is going to replace the strongest main DPS jobs when it comes to raw damage output. I see Monokuma more as a secondary DPS and utility character. The first thing that really caught my attention is the range. Monokuma has very good attack range, which allows you to stay away from the enemy while still contributing damage. Monokuma can play a very annoying hit-and-move style. You can attack from a distance, reposition, attack again, and constantly force the enemy to pay attention to you. You're not necessarily trying to jump into the middle of the enemy formation and delete everyone. You're trying to stay at a comfortable distance and keep attacking while applying pressure and debuffs. And honestly, I think this is Monokuma's biggest advantage. The damage might not be amazing, but the enemy can't simply ignore you. If you're constantly attacking from range and applying your effects to the enemy, you're forcing them to react. You're basically becoming that annoying character in the backline who keeps poking the enemy and disturbing their rhythm. And the longer you survive, the longer you can keep doing that. The elusive skill makes this playstyle even more interesting. It gives you additional range and allows you to attack from a very comfortable distance. You can reach around 13.5 meters, which is quite significant for PvP. It also changes how the enemy needs to deal with you, because they can't simply walk up and hit you like they would against a normal close-range DPS. There is a trade-off. If you want to play the more agile version of Monokuma, you're basically sacrificing some of the potential damage and defensive power. It's to become a mobile ranged pressure machine. There is also another direction you can take. You can build Monokuma to become much more durable. With the defensive skills and utility mechanics available to the job, you can turn him into a much harder target to remove. There are basically two major ways to approach Monokuma. One is the agile range DPS, where you focus on movement, range, and constant attacks. The other is the durable utility build, where you sacrifice some offensive potential to become much harder to kill. I think the most interesting part of Monokuma isn't the raw damage. It's the combination of range, movement, survivability, and constant pressure. That combination gives the job a very different identity. The defensive and utility abilities are actually pretty good. You have taunt mechanics that can potentially force enemies to change their target. You also have mechanics that can transfer damage, helping you survive when you're being focused. And there are counterattack mechanics as well, including the ability to throw bombs back toward enemies that keep attacking you. So Monokuma isn't just a ranged DPS standing at the back. He actually has tools to protect himself when the enemy finally decides to focus him. And this is important because the longer Monokuma survives, the longer he can continue attacking and applying pressure. So I don't see the tankiness as the main purpose of the job. I see it as a way to keep Monokuma alive so he can continue doing his real job, attacking and disrupting the enemy. There is also an interesting mechanic when Monokuma manages to kill an enemy. The enemy can be prevented from resurrecting for a period of time, which can become very useful in PvP. So having a job that can potentially delay that resurrection gives Monokuma another layer of utility. But unfortunately, there is one major problem that I noticed during my testing: the bugs. This job still feels like it needs some polishing. I experienced situations where Monokuma could get stuck while using certain skills, particularly around the elusive mechanic. And for a job that relies heavily on movement and positioning, this is obviously a serious problem. Imagine you're trying to escape from the enemy. You activate your movement skill, and suddenly Monokuma decides, nope, we're staying here. Also, there is some skill who isn't working as intended. That's not exactly what we want. So before I can recommend this job seriously, I definitely want to see how the developers fix these problems. Sometimes being the player who constantly attacks, applies pressure, disrupts the enemy, and forces them to react can be just as valuable. Especially in a large-scale battle, where creating pressure on the enemy formation can give your main DPS more opportunities to do their job. So right now, I'm not going to call Monokuma overpowered. I'm also not going to call him weak. It's simply too early. This is still my first round of testing, and I want to try more builds and more real PvP situations before giving the final verdict. For now, I would describe Monokuma as a mobile ranged secondary DPS with good survivability, very good pressure and debuff potential. but only average raw damage and still too many bugs. And honestly, I think that makes Monokuma a pretty interesting job. I'll continue testing him and see how he performs in actual battles. Hopefully, we can get some of these bugs fixed as well. That's it for my early Monokuma test. Thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next video.